And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy CL Anthony and my main man Bryce Ward. What is up, Bryce?
Not much. Glad to be here. Glad to be back. We didn't get to go this last Sunday. I know you weren't feeling the greatest, so yeah, just glad to get back at it. Talk some basketball with you.
Sorry, I couldn't talk. My voice was gone, so
It
my
happened.
body was icky. I'll say that. So we got some stuff to get into. Just last week, the NBA announced their first returns for this year's All-Star game that's going to take place in Utah, right? So you're excited about the NBA All-Star game every year?
I am the opposite of you, and I do not get excited for the All-Star game. I think it's cool, and I like to see some highlights, but I'd be lying if I said I watch it and keep up with it throughout the weekend and stuff. Like I said, I watch a little bits and pieces here and there, but generally not that excited. I'm more excited to see who gets in and the voting and stuff like that.
I absolutely love All-Star Weekend. So my new schedule will prevent me from watching some things, but that's okay. We'll work it out. So with that said, how shocked are you that again we're looking at Team LeBron James versus Team Kevin Durant? I think this is going to be the third year in a row that we're going to have those guys being the front runners of the vote getters.
Yeah, it seems fair. I'll say that. There's a few guys you could argue could also be up there, but for the most part, they're kind of like symbolic of the two conferences, I'd say right now. Maybe Giannis for the East too, but Kevin Durant, I mean, it's hard to argue with that. And out West, of course, it's going to be LeBron. It's always going to be LeBron until he retires. So, yeah, it's not surprising. Some of the other people that got into the top 10 to start surprised me more than the leaders. So,
well, yeah, we're going to get into that. I will say this, though. I didn't really like the format. I'm a traditionalist. I like the old format. I don't like this format, but we did get the greatest single thing I've ever seen on TV last year when Kevin Durant and LeBron James were picking teams, and Kevin Durant was really trying hard not to pick James Harden. That was hilarious. That dude, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
It is funny.
And then LeBron kind of low-key trolling them too. That made for good TV. It really did. I'm all for that. You know, they won't be able to duplicate that this year, but just their reactions to it last year was just so fucking raw. I loved it. Looking at the Eastern Conference front court, I am a bit surprised, but I'm happy that the Orlando Magic's Paolo is in the top 10 of fan voting.
That's right. That's right.
Represent it. Those beautiful pinstripes. So I know that's one of the shocking names that you've mentioned. How excited are you that Paolo's getting recognition, pretty much worldwide now from the fans?
Oh, I love it because he deserves it. I can't tell you the last time I was this excited for any rookie, and since he's part of my home team, I couldn't be more excited. I mean, the fact that I have a jersey on should tell you, because I haven't had a jersey that I bought myself since I was like 8, or that I got myself, and that was a Jordan Bulls. I've always been a Magic fan, but I've always kind of went towards players as well. I loved Penny, but I never had a Penny jersey. I might get one. Shaq, same way, might get one, but Paolo is he deserves all the recognition. He deserves all the accolades, because by all means, it seems like he puts in the type of work that he deserves this kind of recognition. He's playing at a high level, averaging 21 points a game as a rookie. I think he deserves to be in that voting. I know there's not a lot of guys have made the All-Star team their first year. I think Blake Griffin, did LeBron? I'm sure LeBron did.
Yeah.
So it's just nice, because on top of it, Orlando's getting some attention from it, but Paolo deserves every bit of it. So I'm proud that he's up there, because I know it means a lot to him.
Got you. Well, of course, from little brother to big brother, I am happy to see Jimmy Butler on there, even though I know Jimmy Butler doesn't give a shit about All-Star Weekend and he would rather be home. But Jimmy's on there, so kudos to Jimmy. Bam is not a former All-Star and is having arguably his best season this year. So that's a bit shocking, but I just chalk it up to the Heat haven't won enough games. We haven't been on national TV that much, and people just don't generally give a fuck about the Heat. So, so Bam's not on there. Now, going to the guards. Of course, you have Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden as your top three. You also have Jaylen Brown and Trae Young, DeMar DeRozan, LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton. My biggest shock, Derrick Rose, and Darius Garland. Do you think this is kind of a thank you to Derrick Rose? His career is winding down.
I mean, it's just, I think it's people prisoners of the moment. We know also the Knicks have a big fan base. I think that's some of it. I don't know, because I mean, you could argue other people for sure. Yeah. And I'm a Derrick Rose fan. I'm just taking up a spot that might be a little more like, just off the top of my head, I didn't see him. Especially now. I mean, you could argue Levine. You could argue like quite a few people, maybe. You know what I mean? So, but kudos to Derrick Rose. I'm never gonna bash the dude because I loved him. You know what I mean? So, enjoy it while he can get it.
There's absolutely not really any surprises in the front court for the Western Conference. But when we get to the guards, there's a couple of surprises down there. Don't know what's quite going on. So you got Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, Ja Morant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's playing phenomenal, by the way.
Great basketball.
Klay Thompson, my favorite, Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker is number 8. That shocked me. That really shocked me. Austin Reeves from Los Angeles. And then my main man, Jordan Poole. How shocked are you that Devin Booker is like 8th in the West?
I'm a little shocked at that. I think I might be more shocked at that Austin Reeves guy is on there, period. That's the Lakers fan base for you, though. I think with so many players to be excited about, Devin Booker is one of those guys. By this point, he hasn't taken that next leap to win a championship. So I think it's easier. Steph Curry being up there is like number 1, kind of makes sense to me. But Luka, Ja, Shai, they're all like they're like popping this year. Like they're emerging this year. Last year they kind of like have been having their coming out parties. Devin Booker is a little more removed from that moment now, and him not winning a championship, I think is kind of outside of Phoenix. Is kind of like fell off the radar a little bit with some people. You know what I mean? The Phoenix just been doing the same old. That it's good enough for them. It's good enough to get them into the playoffs and usually have a deep run, but it's not. Outside of Phoenix fans, I don't know how many people are super excited to see Devin Booker because he drops buckets. You know what I mean? But he's not necessarily as exciting as watching Ja or watching Shai. Watching Luka bully everyone up and down the court. It's not as exciting as watching Steph run through his offense and hit just like ridiculous shots. Right. Not to say Devin Booker's not good, but I think he's seeing that that spotlight move to some other players right now.
I'm looking at these numbers, and I'm looking at Ja and looking at Shai, and they're only separated by about 3,000 votes. 3,500.
And you could argue for all the attention Ja's getting, like Shai is. You could argue Shai's having a better season.
Well, he's. Oh, go ahead.
At this point, I think if I had to pick one for like fantasy or to start my point guard selection for my team, I think I'd go with Shai.
Yeah, he's more fundamentally sound than Ja. Ja is a bit more explosive, but what Shai has done, he has put the Thunder in winning positions at the end of games, and I think that's where he's always been a phenomenal player. but he's kind of now playing winning basketball. They're not winning a lot of games, but they're in a lot of games because of him. And he has hit a few game winners this year. So I think that's why he's getting the shine that he's getting, which is great. I'm just surprised they're so close in voting. I mean, they're close regionally in the league, but they're so close in voting. That's actually shocking. I'm proud of the young man for that. So, Kevin Durant is going to miss some time. The Nets were rolling. Won 12 straight games, dropped one game. They kind of caught fire again. But now Durant's going to be out for at least 2 weeks, but it may be up to a month. So, what impact do you think his loss is going to have on the Nets going forward?
It might sound weird, but more this year than I would say in the last couple years. It seems like the team really is, like the tone feels different for that team right now. It seems like they're more focused, more locked in to actually doing what they wanted to come in and do. Look like Kyrie and Durant both are feeding off that energy, and the rest of the team, they had the rest of the team gelling pretty well with him. I mean, Kevin Durant was doing he was playing more intense basketball in my eyes, like from what I could see, and was playing more all around basketball. Like, I know he's never been like a bad defender or anything, but it's sometimes you can look out there and it seems like you can see more focus on the defensive side of the ball with a lot of players, and you can't see it all the time. But the way that he's been getting assists and playing defense, I think he really has that team playing the right way and setting the tone, and he's continuing to get his buckets. So right before he got hurt for the last like month or so, it seemed like Durant's been playing like MVP style basketball, like best in the league. So I think it's going to hurt that team quite a bit. Like, hopefully they can keep the ship steady enough to where they don't lose too much ground after all the progress they've made. You know, we're by no means Brooklyn fans, right? But just looking at it from like a basketball standpoint, they deserve to be up there with the way they've been playing. So you hate to see it just because of injury. And that's with any team or any player. You know what I mean? Like, we hate to not see what a team's full potential is. So I hope he gets back out there quick. I hope the best for Kevin Durant, of course. And I just like to see what they can do in the postseason. So hopefully they don't slide too much, but they might. I don't know if Kyrie can do it on his own.
The pressure of those two guys, Kyrie and Durant, is immense. So, of course, you know, they played Miami over the weekend. So I watched the whole game, and it is just an immense pressure, an immense threat. The entirety of the game, like, you can't breathe because you never know when one of those guys are going to go off. Ironically, Miami actually played a great game and was leading most of the game until Bam went down in the fourth quarter. Durant he banged knees with Kyle Lowry in the third quarter, but then he went out in the fourth quarter, and then Bam went out shortly after, and then the Heat offense fell apart. But it was still a close game. But just the defensive energy that Miami had to put forth to keep those guys in check, one was incredible. But that's a compliment to Brooklyn, because, like I said, they just keep coming and coming and coming. It's like, Jesus Christ. They will be able to wear teams down, especially in the playoffs, if healthy. Brooklyn may be a problem. Maybe a problem. You know, we'll see. Right now, they're second in the East. They've still won 2 straight games, so we'll see how this little, break without Kevin Durant will harm them, because they're only 1 game and a half out of first place, believe it or not. So they've completely turned their season around, which is great.
Speaking of Brooklyn, since you still have the All-Star voting up, were you surprised that Nick Claxton was on there?
Yes and no. I mean, they're winning now. They're getting more shine, so I don't have a problem with it. Like, if they were number 15 in the East and he was up there, then yeah, I have a problem with that. But no, they're winning, so I'm good on that. Yeah, I am absolutely good on that. So, sticking with the Eastern Conference, we got someone coming back who we haven't seen since the Orlando bubble. There's reports out of Orlando that Jonathan Isaac is gearing up for a return to the Magic. Bryce, what do you think Isaac can give you guys?
Right off the bat, I'd say getting his defensive presence back could be the biggest factor. He has some offensive potential. Not to say the guy can't score. I just don't know if he can be like a 15 to 20 point scorer in this league. I just don't know. I haven't seen enough out of him. But the defensive end of what he can bring is the more impressive part. From what I'm hearing in their 5-on-5 practices, from him and other players, like, it's going to take a minute to get your cardio and the feel for being in a game back. But they're saying like his instincts and what he's doing in practice, like almost like he hasn't missed a beat, which it seems almost impossible with as long as he's been out. But if he can just come back and just, get up and down the court and basically not be a liability at the NBA level, I'll be happy. It'd kind of be like what you guys were getting out of Oladipo. Once in a while when you need him to come in, like it's a bonus right now. I don't want to factor him into the overall team success this year because I think we can do that without him. But I am excited. He was our first round pick. He's shown signs of being a pretty impressive talent on both sides of the court. But like I said, it's the defensive end that really highlights what he can do now. And so I'm sure it's just going to take rhythm and reps with the teams, getting used to players. But the fact that he's actually going to get back out there and start ramping up his minutes, it's exciting. We've been waiting a long time for this. I know a lot of other Magic fans, I think, are more excited than I am. And it's not anything personal with the kid. It took us so long to get healthy with what we have now. And in my eyes, that's our core main team. So this is just the cherry on top. I hope he plays well. I hope it's something we can add to our normal rotation here soon and get all the guys playing together. Because every time we bring someone back from injury, you can tell there's a lack of continuity on the court. And it actually slows us down for a game or two. Not that we don't need those guys back, but it's always a rough transition when the team's been playing well together. So I think definitely he brings something that we need on the defensive end. He brings the intensity, and by all accounts, he's a good leader as well. He seems to hold the other players accountable too. Like he has a competitive spirit. So I'm excited. If time permits, I might actually make it down to one of those Lakeland Magic games. I might try just to catch a glimpse of him. I'm excited. I'm just not banking my season or any wins on him yet. Like maybe next season, but this year is just bonus. Whatever he can do, I'm excited for. But I'm excited for him just to be healthy in general.
Right. I haven't seen him play in so long. I forgot what his game is, to be honest with you. But I will not watch Lakeland Magic games. I refuse. But once they move him up to the main roster, then I'll try to catch him, catch some glimpses of him. But yeah, he's going to be rusty. It's going to be some turnovers. It's going to be some traveling calls. It's going to take him a while to get back. Maybe the last month or so of the season, he'll be close to himself. Now, speaking of the last month of the season, I'm taking a look at the standings right now. The Orlando Magic are only 3.5 games out of the play-in. So you guys might actually be knocked on that play-in door this year, which would be a huge accomplishment. Because it is. I thought it was next year. So y'all are hovering now. Y'all are hovering. I gotta watch y'all.
We started off the season rough, and then we went through that losing streak. But a lot of that, I've said the whole time, a lot of it is based on we didn't have our players. I mean, we played a lot of the beginning of the season without a starting or backup point guard. We played a lot of it without our starting center, who is a defensive anchor. We've lost Suggs, we lost OKK, and those are more rotational players, but they're kind of key to our defense at points. There's been a lot of reasons for us to lose games, and as we've got players back, we've looked I've watched almost every game. We've looked better and better as the season went on. And when we play with the right intensity and energy, the Magic have beat some really good teams. And it looks like it's kind of like up to them and the team energy almost on any given night. Not to say that these other teams aren't good and can't come in and beat us. I'm not saying that. But when the Magic are actually playing the right way and they're just hitting an average amount of shots, we've been competitive against everyone I've seen. So it's exciting as a Magic player or fan. I wasn't expecting to play in this year. It was kind of like if I could pick best case scenario, that would have been it, right? I thought we might get a little close, not the bottom of the pack. I didn't think we'd actually have a legit shot at Wembayama unless we were actually tanking, which I do not think we're doing.
No, you're not.
When we're healthy, there you can see the effort out there. We're not tanking. I never thought we were going to tank this year. Some people really were on that for a minute when we were losing a lot of games. But the fact that we're that close, all it takes is a couple weeks worth of games. We're only barely halfway through the season. The Magic are definitely in that playoff hunt for the play-in. I think next year, without injury, I think next year we're going to be there for sure. But this year, to be there, to be at least worrying teams that we could take a spot, it's exciting and it makes the games more interesting. So I'm really proud of that team. Proud for all the shit the coach was getting earlier in the year with rotations. Like it seems like some of that is starting to become more normal. The team's getting on a more same page, like continuity wise. They have all their players back. So as a Magic fan, it's been exciting to watch.
Excuse me. Well, I'm going to end it with this week. There's a report that LeBron James is getting frustrated with his team. There's also a report that Anthony Davis is gearing up for his return again. The Lakers are only half a game out of the play-in. LeBron's been playing great. Mm-hmm. Russell Westbrook has been playing incredible. Those two have found the groove. Now you have Davis coming back. With the team only being a half game out of the play-in, do the teams in the upper echelon of the Western Conference need to look at the Lakers as a potential first-round threat?
Yeah. if Davis is healthy, anything could happen. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook's on that team. Those guys hate losing. If they get to the playoffs, they could upset someone. I could see that for sure. Yeah. But I don't know if they do it without Davis, though. I know he's coming back soon. All right. That doesn't mean he can't go down again. Yeah, I just hope he can stay healthy and see what that Lakers team can do. Because he was balling before he got hurt.
Yeah. We're not saying the Lakers are going to win the championship. That's what we're saying.
Not doing that again.
But what we're saying is, you don't want to see them in the first round if they're healthy. You do not want to see that team healthy in the first round. So we are going to wrap it up this week, guys, for the Hardwood Nation podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. Comment on our videos. Tell us you love us. Tell us you hate us. We'll wave and say, hey, regardless. We don't care. We love you all. Until next week, have a good one.
See ya.